A major defense agreement inked between the U.S. and India, even as they navigate tensions over trade. U.S. Defence Secretary Pete Hegseth hailed the deal as, quote, a significant step in expanding military and technological cooperation. Mr. Hegseth and his Indian counterpart Rajnath Singh signed the 10-year defense framework agreement today, in their first meeting since the U.S. imposed 50% tariffs on Indian goods in August. India is a major defense partner, with Mr. Singh stressing that this partnership is crucial to ensure a free, open and rules-based Indo-Pacific region. And we speak to Nick Harper in Washington, D.C. and Ishan Garg in New Delhi. They're covering this story live for CNN. Let's start with you, Nick. Rajnath Singh saying how important this agreement, this partnership is for rules-based order in the Indo-Pacific. But for Washington, it's not overstating the case to say that India is a linchpin for Washington's Indo-Pacific strategy.
Well, very much, Wei Su, and we've seen that during the course of this week with the Trump administration there in the region, very much trying to shore up alliances. Much of the focus, of course, has been on trade deals, on tariffs, but behind the scenes, really, that diplomatic push from the United States to shore up those alliances throughout the Indo-Pacific region, now in particular with India, and all of that is to try and counter that growing dominance of China in the Indo-Pacific. And we have seen the US and India working together in the past, for example, with the Quad relationship, that pairing of four countries, also with Australia and Japan, all four countries working on defence strategies in the Indo-Pacific. But behind the scenes, really, that's all about trying to counter China once again. Pete Hegseth said that this was a very good meeting that he had with his Indian counterpart. The US making it clear that they are looking to the future, trying to increase their position alongside India in the Indo-Pacific. That 10-year plan very much puts this on a long-term trajectory. Hegseth calling it a cornerstone for regional stability and deterrence, saying that it was a roadmap for deeper and even more meaningful collaboration between the US and India. In terms of the details of this 10-year plan, there are some main areas that the two countries will be working on together. For example, working on regional stability, but importantly, deterrence as well. Enhancing cooperation and coordination between the two nations. Also, more information sharing and more technological cooperation between the US and India. And of course, this is all about trying to counter China. And we've even seen that happening face to face with Pete Hegseth meeting a delegation of Chinese officials, including the Chinese defense minister. Pete Hegseth saying that he told Dong Jung in the meeting between the two of them that the US is emphasizing its concerns about Chinese activities in the South China Sea. Of course, that aggression towards US allies and partners in the region. Hegseth also saying that the US does not seek conflict, but it will stoutly defend its interests. And he said that it was important to maintain the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. So India and the US working more closely together, trying to counter China, the idea being that their 10-year plan will very much put them on that path of a stronger, better collaboration between the US and India.
Now, Ishan, Nick's saying there, if the US is looking to India as a fellow partner in countering China, India might be thinking the same. So this deal on defense cooperation with Washington, would that give it something to work with as it looks to find further agreement on another front, and that's, of course, trade?
Well, China certainly seems to be one of the biggest factors, if not the biggest factors, why India and America are increasing their cooperation in the area of defense, even though there are very clear tensions on the trade front between the two sides. When India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh met the Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, one word that stands out from that very short statement is the fact that they have mentioned an open and free Indo-Pacific. India normally does not mention China in reference to when it comes to talks with other countries, but free and open Indo-Pacific and rules-based world order are some of the words that Indian diplomacy has used in the past to signal that their discussions involved China to some extent. Now, India and US are now agreeing to a 10-year defense partnership. And this comes at a time when India has not only been looking to keep China at bay amid border tensions with the country, but also looking at modernizing its own armed forces. When India's foreign minister met his counterparts in July, they had discussed India potentially procuring armored vehicles, new missiles, and also patrolling aircrafts as well. And we now understand that after signing of this 10-year defense framework, those procurements can become a lot more easier. And in some ways, it kills two birds with one stone. On one hand, India will be modernizing its defense force. It will also be cutting down its trade deficit with the United States, which could help India and US ties on another front, which is trade.
Thanks to Nick Harper there live from Washington, D.C. and Ishan Garg live from New Delhi for us.